It's time now for Voice of the Valley, brought to you in part by Discovery Rehab and Living, Lehigh County's premier location for short-term rehab and long-term care.
Wednesday's Voice of the Valley. And we welcome Linda Price from the Bureau of Land Management. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Good morning.
Everything starting off. It sounds like it's starting off better than 2021 ended for you.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, personally, yes. Work is BLM is just the same. We're just plugging along.
Mm-hmm. You say there's some things out there in the air that you'd like to clear up. Talk to me about that. Some permit application.
Yes. So we received an application for a special recreation permit to conduct outfit and guiding operations in Unit 29, which is the west side of Highway 28 from McDivitt Creek to Gilmore.
Okay.
And we currently don't have an outfitting and guides permit issued in that area. So this would be a new special recreation permit. And we've received a lot of comments from the public. Our news release made it on Facebook. It hasn't been in the newspaper yet.
Okay.
But it did make it on Facebook, and there's a lot of people that are upset, and a lot of people don't want this permit issued for a myriad of reasons. But there's been a couple of misconceptions that I would just like to clear up.
Okay, let's talk about it. So an outfitter applied for Outfitters and Guides permit to use that part of the world.
Right.
Okay.
To conduct a commercial operation on public land.
All right.
And that requires a permit, and it requires fees, and they need to pay a percentage of their profits for the care of the public land that they use.
Okay.
Kind of like a grazing permit.
All right. Sure.
So it's a commercial use of public lands.
So let's clear the air.
Right. So there's been a lot of people that are concerned about this person being given exclusive use of Unit 29 and being able to prevent local hunters from hunting or camping or going into that area.
Okay.
And even though special recreation permits, I as the authorized officer, I do have the authority to give them exclusive use of the area they're applying for. We rarely do in outfitting and guiding special recreation permits. So there's a term and condition on the permit, an automatic term and condition on the permit that says you cannot prevent anybody else from entering the area.
No. Okay.
Unless given permission by the authorized officer. So there are some special recreation permits that BLM issues that allows exclusive use, and a perfect example is Burning Man in Nevada.
Okay.
So there's a set area that they hold Burning Man in, and they charge a large amount of money for people to participate. And so in order for them to control who goes in and out, the BLM issues them an exclusive special recreation permit, and it allows them during that period of time to prevent people that don't pay the entrance fee from entering the area. There's also special recreation permits like off-road races. So, four-wheel drive truck races in Nevada. This happens a lot in Nevada.
Right, well.
Not so much here.
Gambling and off-road races in Nevada.
They do a lot of crazy stuff in Nevada. But so for an off-road truck race, for safety purposes, they need to prevent people from entering a certain area during a certain time.
Yeah.
So they have an exclusive use SRP, what we call an SRP.
Okay.
Hunting and guiding SRP is not an exclusive use. And if this permit is issued, I will not be authorizing them to have exclusive use.
If this permit that we are speaking of currently is issued, which it hasn't been officially yet,
Nope.
You will not declare it exclusive
Right.
use. Okay.
Right.
And is that the misconception out there?
That is the misconception.
Okay.
A lot of people are thinking that this permit holder will be able to lock up public lands and prevent your casual user from entering.
Right.
And that's just not the case.
Not how it's going to be. Okay.
And that is, it would be illegal. If they tried to do that, their permit could get revoked, and it's also an Idaho Fish and Game violation if they're hunting to harass other public land users. So
the permittee, so to speak, the person applying for this permit knows that, right? That he's not going to be the king of the hill, so to speak. And I mean no disrespect at all.
Right.
But he knows that's a provision in the permit.
Yes.
Okay.
Very, very well aware of that. And then the second one, the second misconception is that we're only considering this one applicant for that area.
Oh.
So we have two questions we're answering with the analysis here. We have two decisions to make. The first decision that I need to make is whether to issue a special recreation permit at all, whether to have guiding and outfitting in Unit 29 at all, regardless of who the permit holder is. We'll make that decision first, whether we want to have a special recreation permit for guiding and outfitting. So I would like comments from the public about that. If it's your brother-in-law, if it's your favorite person, if it's your sister that wants to run an outfitting business in Unit 29, would you have a problem with that? What kind of impacts would that have on your recreation experience in Unit 29? So that's the first question. After we make that decision, if I decide to go ahead and have a special recreation permit in Unit 29, then BLM and the Idaho Guides and Outfitters Licensing Board together makes the decision on who gets the permit.
Got it.
And right now, I know there are more than just this one applicant that's interested in that. So the licensing board will go out with what they call a prospectus. And it will ask the public who else is interested in this. And those people that are interested in the permit will basically compete for it.
Right.
They will convey to the licensing board what they want to use it for, who their clients would be, and then the licensing board and BLM together will decide who gets that permit.
It's like two entities applying for the same money in a grant.
Right.
It's kind of a process that they have to go through, and then they are chosen.
Right, and we do that with the licensing board because they also need a license to outfit on public lands through the licensing board. So it's kind of like the chicken and the egg.
Yeah.
If they don't have a license, they can't get a special recreation permit. If they don't have a special recreation permit, they can't get a license.
Yeah.
So we do it all at the same time.
It's a process, through a couple of different entities. A question just popped into my simple little mind. It might not be pertinent at all. Why hasn't there ever been an outfitter in Area 29?
There has been.
Okay.
There has been at least two outfitters that I know of, according to our old records and some comments I've been getting from the public. And there are some minutes recorded from a licensing board meeting from, I should have written down the date, from the 1990s, where the BLM manager at that time decided not to renew a special recreation permit for outfitting in Unit 29. But I can't find any records about why. What was the justification for not renewing it? Was it impact to the hunter experience? That's what I'm hearing from the public. It's that your general hunters, they would be too many hunters if we had an outfitter out there, and it would be too crowded. That's what I'm hearing a lot from the public.
So what do you want us to do?
Well,
a couple of things that you are asking the public to do, maybe?
Right. I'm asking them to let me know. If there's anybody out there that wants an outfitter to have a special recreation permit, I've only heard from a couple of people that think it's a good idea. If you think it's a good idea, I'd like to hear from you and why you think it's a good idea. I'd also like to hear from you if you think it's not a good idea. I really want to know how issuing that permit will impact not only the physical resources out there, the habitat, the roads, the staging areas, but I also want to know how it's going to impact your hunting experience, your recreation experience. We extended the public comment period. We had a public comment period. The first 30 days ended December 5th, but we weren't getting very many comments, and we knew people were going to be interested in this, so we extended the comment period till January 5th. We put out a news release. We've gotten a lot of comments. So the comment period formally ends today. However, we haven't made a decision yet. We haven't even started the environmental assessment document yet, so I still want to hear from people.
How do we help Linda do her due diligence on this?
Please.
And how do we comment to you?
So our outdoor recreation planner, his name is Travis Seberg. His email, you can email him at G as in good, Seberg, SEABERG at BLM.gov. Or you can call him at 208-756-5412.
Okay. Do those two again in case people just found their pen and paper.
You bet.
All right.
G. Seberg at BLM.gov. G. SEABERG at BLM.gov. Or his phone number is 208-756-5412.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
And if they didn't get that, they can just call the main number at the BLM office, and any one of us will be able to help them.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good luck to you. It's kind of a big deal, especially it's a big deal for this, but people also need to understand that it's not an exclusive.
It's not an exclusive use.
Yeah. All right.
And we have, people may hear we had a public meeting in Leadore. I did not call a public meeting. A bunch of people in Leadore were upset about this, and so a bunch of them got together to talk about it, and they invited BLM to come answer questions. We'll go anywhere and answer questions.
Good.
So if anybody in Salmon, I had a couple of people come into the office yesterday and talk to me. If there's a meeting, if a bunch of people are getting together in Salmon, I'll come talk to them. I'll talk to anybody.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you.
You bet.
And good luck. We hope you get a response to this.
Yes, I hope so too.
Good. Well, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Thanks for coming and chit-chatting.
Anytime.
Come back. Anytime on my end, too. Come on back.
You bet.
All right.
Thanks.
More Voice of the Valley coming up next. Jenny's in.
Discovery Rehabilitation and Living, Limhi County's 5-star Medicare facility, offers in-house physical, occupational, and speech therapy services. Their rehabilitation team works with patients recovering from injury, stroke, surgery, or general weakness from illness. They also help patients regain strength, balance, and mobility to allow for a safe return home. Restorative exercise programs are available for long-term and assisted living residents to maintain their highest level of function and independence. Find out more about quality care for the ones you love at Discovery Rehab and Living. Call 208-756-8391 or stop in at 600 Shanafeld Street in Salmon.
Oh, yes. Voice of the Valley. So Linda Price from the Bureau of Land Management was here, and now into the hot seat comes our friend Jenny Tracy.
Good morning.
Hello there.
How are you?
Happy New Year. I am great.
Happy New Year to you.
Are you okay?
I'm great. Waking up to all the snow. I got a text message early this morning that school was canceled. So.
Yeah. Oh, you weren't listening to the radio then. I'm teasing.
Not at 6:30 in the morning. I was not.
I'm teasing. Yeah. The phone was ringing at a little before 6 from the school saying, yeah.
I was still looking at the backside of my eyes.
That's a smart lady. Good for you. Well, when you get as old as me, Jenny, you'll be up.
Yeah.
You'll be up.
We'll see. I am just not a morning person. I'm a night owl.
You've made that comment before.
Yeah.
Well, good. It might all turn around once you get, past 29.
We'll see. Yeah. Hey. Yeah.
How's things? Good? Happy
great.
Wednesday to you.
Happy Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm glad you stopped by.
Yeah, I've got all kinds of fun things to talk about today.
Let's talk.
Just to give a little COVID update, I know Rockwell talks about it. Limhi County had 2 new active cases as of yesterday, and putting our active case total at 6. This is good. This is good news. I think the last many times, probably since August.
Yeah.
We've been in the 20s.
Yep.
Every time we report, so this is great. I will say there might be a little uptick of a trend coming. Today's numbers after 5 p.m. might be a little bit different, but this total active was 6.
Uptick because of gatherings,
probably.
New Year's Eve stuff.
It's hard to say, but probably with Christmas.
But that could, I get it.
But we might, just to give everybody a heads up, there might be a little bit of an increase there.
But that's how people catch cold and flu.
Absolutely.
And chickenpox and measles and things like that.
We're going to talk about influenza next.
Let's talk.
It's a really good segue.
Let's talk.
All right, so influenza season. We're there.
Are we? We're in the heart of it.
Influenza season.
Yeah.
So, in Limhi County, there are no active flu cases yet, so we're still at 0.
Okay.
I did confirm with our lab this morning that we have not seen any positive influenza cases from our facility. There are influenza cases in eastern Idaho. There's active cases in Idaho Falls, so that's just kind of our back door.
Right.
Just to let everybody know, what they're seeing for influenza, it's influenza A, is what is being detected. There's two strains, A and B. Okay. Influenza A is what they're seeing right now.
Okay.
And then what I really want to share that's important, when I looked at our seasonal data, I went back about 4 to 5 years. That gives us a good trend. Between 1 week from now and 3 weeks from now is when we see the spike in our region of positive cases. So that's kind of a seasonal data. For those of you that have not gotten the influenza vaccine and are waiting, because some people wait to get the influenza vaccine later into the season. So if you're one of those that you're waiting to get that vaccine, it takes 2 weeks for it to become effective. So we've got influenza vaccines available at Stone Memorial Medical Center. Monday through Thursday is 9 to 4. On Fridays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. To get that influenza vaccine. We've got a lot available. For kiddos, usually you just get one influenza vaccine a year. Ages 6 months and up. So if your kiddo has never had the influenza vaccine, you do need to get a series of 2 for that kiddo. Just the one time, you'll get a series of 2 that year. And then that child will just get, one after that. But now's the time. We're 1 to 3 weeks out from getting that typical spike that we.
So between now and the 1st of February, pretty much. 1 to 3. 1 to 3. So it's the 5th today. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, between 7 days from about now is when that spike happens.
Got
it. I said, and it does take 2 weeks for that influenza vaccine to become effective. You can get the influenza vaccine and the COVID vaccine together. Before they were saying you had to wait those 2 weeks. Now you can get them at the same time.
Oh, you can, yeah.
Yep. So if you're getting your COVID booster and you haven't gotten your influenza vaccine, you can get that at the same time. You can request it. I would assume Salmon Pharmacy, Safeway is offering flu vaccines. Right. They usually do. So wherever you go, I would, and you want that, ask for them to get together.
Yeah, I heard from Salmon Pharmacy yesterday, and
do they have them?
They're doing vaccines, and they're donating. I don't have the verbiage right in front of me, but they're donating some things back to community events and things like that.
Awesome.
If you go in there, and you can get them at the hospital there too, right?
Cool. Perfect.
All right. Good.
Just a little bit more about influenza. So symptoms are fever with chills, body aches, cough, sore throat, runny nose, stuffy nose, muscle, body aches, headache, fatigue. Some people have vomiting and diarrhea, but that's more common in children than it is in adults. A couple of different things between a cold and influenza. So influenza is really abrupt. You can be feeling really good in the morning, afternoon, and just all of a sudden you're not feeling well. That fever spikes, those body aches, severe headaches. It happens really quickly, typically, on the typical person. And I feel like nothing's typical anymore. But typically it's abrupt. Colds are kind of more gradual. Fever is rare in a cold. Influenza is more common, and that fever can last 3 to 4 days. Body aches in a cold can be slight. Influenza, they're common and often severe. I had influenza a couple years ago, and it felt like I got hit by a train.
Yeah.
I mean, it was rough.
Yeah.
Chills are uncommon with a cold. Influenza, fairly common. All this information I'm reading right now is from the CDC. Fatigue, weakness on a cold is sometimes. Influenza, it's usual. Sneezing is common with a cold, only sometimes with influenza. Chest discomfort for a cold can be moderate to mild. Kind of that, you can get that hacking cough with a cold. The chest discomfort with influenza is common and can be severe. Stuffy nose with a cold is common. Influenza, it's sometimes. Sore throat, sometimes influenza, common with a cold. Cold with a headache is rare. Influenza headache is very common. All right. We're going to move on to some fun stuff.
Good. It's about time. No,
All right. No,
what kind of fun stuff? Talk to me.
So, community outreach. I promised
Right.
last week we were going to talk about some community outreach stuff.
Okay.
So I went through and kind of summed up year 2021. You and I talked last week. 2021 was a great year.
Right. Well, it was for me.
It was.
Yeah.
I love 2021. I mean, there were some not so fun stuff, but 2021 was great.
But compared to 2020, it was like a walk in the park, man. Yeah.
We had some great community outreach events. We hosted about 24 community outreach events. Now, that is down from what we normally do. We usually do 50 or 60 events a year, which is a lot.
Boy.
But 24 is still great for what we've all gone through. We were able to do 24 events, and I just want to talk about some of them. So outreach department, that's one of my main jobs, working with the community, providing education, getting on the radio, hanging out with you, and just providing services that the community needs. A couple of the things that we've been doing that has been super successful, and I'm really, really proud of this program, is doing our screenings in the schools. So this year alone, we were in the Chalice School District, so that would be K through 12.
Okay.
We provided 297 screenings to the Chalice School District. So 297 kids had a free hearing, a free vision, and a free alignment screening.
My goodness.
We rocked it out in a single day. Me and Lori Coles, who's our pediatric physical therapist, went into the schools and we checked for vision, we checked for hearing, and we checked for alignment, scoliosis, movement issues, and we're able to provide these services for free. In the Salmon area, we were in the Carmen school, which we were able to screen 55 kiddos in the Carmen schools and about 76 in Fern Waters. So it was a total of 428 free screenings we offered. So these screenings are on a rotation. So the Chalice School District, and then the two charter schools are on it every other year. So then on the off year, we do the Salmon School District. There's between 600 and 900 kiddos in the school district for the Salmon School District. So we break it up because it's a lot of kids to screen in 1 year. We try to do it in the first semester so that if there are any anomalies that we find, we can refer so those parents can take their kids to the eye doctor or get some additional hearing screening from a provider of their choice. And so we do that completely free of charge. A couple other things that we do that we started about, probably 5 years ago as well, is we offer the health class in the Salmon School District. So every student has to go through health. It's one of those required classes. We offer a CPR certification to every single student that goes through health class. So by the time that every student graduates from high school, they will be CPR certified. So what that means, and this is through the American Heart Association, is a certification that we do. So we teach adult, infant, and adult, child, and pediatric CPR, first aid, and AED. These are all individual certifications. So if you were to go out and have to take these classes for your job or whatever reason you need these certifications, you would have to take 3 separate classes. You'd have to take an adult certification, a child, and a pediatric, and you have to pay for them separately. And we offer them for free. Yep. Every kid walks away with all those certifications, including first aid. And then we partner with our air ambulance program here, Air Idaho, and we teach Stop the Bleed collectively together. So that's another certification that they get. It's a 1-hour class that we teach on using tourniquets and stopping emergency bleeding. So in the year 2021, we were able to certify, I got to do the math here, 33 kiddos in the health class.
Isn't that something?
That's in 1 year.
That's a valuable little card to have in your wallet, too.
It's really valuable. Yeah. It's not only valuable to the student, it's valuable to our community. So every year we are certifying, at least 30 kids every single year. So we've been doing this for 5 years.
Yeah.
You can do the math there. That's a lot of people that are certified with CPR, AED, first aid, and Stop the Bleed, that we do every single year completely free. It's an invaluable service, I think, not only to the kids that get to experience all of that, but to our community. These are people that are joining our workforce. They're out driving, they're out recreating, and we have that many more people that can help save a life.
Well, you should be proud of that.
I am. I'm very proud of the program that we offer. And then a couple other things that we do is concussion screenings. So this program's been going on forever. Those of you that have been in this community a long time, these names will kind of ring familiar. Cindy Greer, Steve Jessup. These individuals started, I believe it was Steve Jessup that had started this. I'm really going to date myself here, but I think about 20 years ago, Steve, maybe a little bit less, started this baseline concussion screening program, and it's a contract that we have with Impact. Impact is a nation-recognized screening tool to help diagnose concussion.
Yep.
And so this program has grown to be huge. We finished in 2021, and we conducted 120 baseline concussion screenings. And what this means is that the student will take a test. It's kind of like an old school computer game, if you want to call it that. It's based on memory and reaction. And what I do is I go in the school district, they donate their computer lab to us, and I go in and I'll take a team, whether it's the football team or hockey or basketball or whatever group it is, wrestling. They'll go in and they take this test. It takes about 45 minutes to do, and they establish what you call a baseline. And if they get a concussion, they'll go typically to our walk-in clinic or wherever else. Chalice is doing this as well. We've rolled this program out in Chalice. So the Chalice School District has access to this program. And they will take what is called a post-injury concussion screening. So we will look at the baseline, which is before there's an injury, and then the student will take the test again. And from this injury, they'll compare the two. So then the physician will, it's just a tool, of course, in many things that they will use to diagnose a concussion. But it's a tool in their little toolbox of diagnosing and looking at severity of that concussion and helping determine when it's going to be safe for that student to go back to play or to practice. So again, we did 120 of those in 1 year, which is amazing. And we offer them every single year to the school district. The students are on a cycle, so they'll take that baseline concussion screening, usually starting in 5th grade is when we roll it out. This year, I think it was 5th grade is when they started tackle football. So we started it and rolled it out to the 5th graders. So every other year from here on out until they graduate high school, they will take this baseline concussion screening every other year. We offer it completely free. The students don't pay for it. And it's just a great service to the community that we offer.
You should be bragging on yourself like you are. You bet. Well,
do you want to take a little break? Because I have a couple other things. We need to end.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll end there. But yeah, we do all kinds of fun stuff, and maybe another week from here we'll talk about more.
We always need good news, Jenny. So bring that piece of paper back, will you?
I didn't even get halfway through.
You didn't?
I didn't.
Come back tomorrow.
I will. Thanks.
Thanks, Jenny, for being on Voice of the Valley. Happy New Year, girl.
Happy New Year to you.
Voice of the Valley. Today has been brought to you by Discovery Rehab and Living, Lemhi County's place to regain your strength and mobility, and a place you can call home. Located at 600 Shanafelt Street in Salmon, visit discoveryrehabandliving.com or call 208-756-8391 for more information.